Have you ever stopped to think about how often you use the word in or on or at in a single day?
Honestly, no. I just say them. They come out automatically. But now that you mention it, I probably use them hundreds of times without thinking.
Exactly! Hundreds, maybe thousands. And here is the wild part. For most native English speakers, prepositions are invisible. We do not notice them. But for English learners, these tiny words are some of the hardest things to master in the entire language. Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Every Day. Today, we will learn the usages of prepositions in our daily life.
I think a lot of you learners get frustrated because prepositions do not follow clean, logical rules. You cannot just memorize a chart and expect to be perfect. Half of them are based on habit, instinct, and cultural usage that took native speakers years to absorb.
Right. So today we are going to do something different. We are going to walk through how prepositions actually show up in daily life. Not from a textbook, not from grammar rules, but from real moments, real sentences, the way people actually use them.
Where should we start?
Let us start with the three biggest ones, the ones that confuse almost everyone learning English. In, on, at.
Those are the classics. And I remember when I was helping a friend learn English, she asked me, "Why do we say I live in New York, but I live on Main Street, and I live at 25 Park Avenue?" And I just stood there. Because how do you explain that?
Yes, that is the exact problem. The rule is actually about size. In is for the biggest space. On is for a surface, like a street. At is for a specific point, like a house number.
So in goes with countries, cities, and rooms. On goes with streets, surfaces, and days. And at goes with addresses, specific locations and times. Is that right?
Yes, we live in United States. We live on Main Street. We meet at the coffee shop on the corner. The smaller and more specific the place, the more we move from in to on to at.
That actually makes sense when you say it like that. So if someone asks where I am, I could say I am in the building, on the third floor, at my desk. All three prepositions, all in one sentence.
Perfect example. And the same logic works for time. We say in for big time periods. In 2026, in December, in the morning. We say on for specific days. On Monday, on my birthday. We say at for exact times. At 7 o'clock, at noon, at midnight.
So the rule for time is the same as the rule for place. Big to small, general to specific.
Exactly. Once you understand that pattern, in, on, and at becomes so much easier.
Okay, that is one mystery solved. But what about the harder ones? Because in my experience, the real confusion starts with words like for, since, by, until, and during.
Those are the ones that make people quit English. So let us break them down. For and since are the trickiest pair because they both deal with time, but they work completely differently.
How so?
For talks about a length of time, how long something has lasted. I have lived here for 5 years. She has been studying for 2 hours. We waited for 10 minutes.
And since?
Since talks about the starting point, when something began. I have lived here since 2020. She has been studying since this morning. We have been waiting since lunch.
So for is the duration. Since is the start date. That actually clears it up. I think English learners mix them up because in many other languages, they use just one word for both.
That is exactly why it is so confusing. Your brain wants to translate directly, but in English, you have to think about whether you are describing the length or the beginning.
What about by and until? I have always struggled with those.
By and until both deal with deadlines, but they mean very different things. By means before a certain time. The task must be done by Friday. That means any time before Friday is fine, but not after.
And until?
Until means up to that point in time. I will be working until Friday. That means I am working continuously and I stop on Friday.
So by is the deadline. Until is the duration ending at that deadline. If my boss says, finish the report by Monday, it means finish it before Monday. But if my boss says, I need you to work until Monday, it means I am working all the way up to Monday.
Perfect. You got it.
And during?
During is one of the easier ones. It just means within the time period of something. We talked during the meeting. He fell asleep during the movie. It happened during my vacation. Whenever something happens inside a defined event or time block, you use during.
You know what I love about this? When you explain them like this, they actually become memorable, not as grammar rules, but as patterns.
Because that is how native speakers learn them. Through patterns, through repetition, through context, not through rules.
Okay, let us talk about another set that confuses people. Of, with, and to. Especially of. That one feels everywhere and meaningless sometimes.
Of is one of the most overused prepositions in English. It usually shows possession, relationship, or part of something. The leg of the table, a cup of coffee, the capital of France, a friend of mine.
And in many cases, of just replaces an apostrophe s. Instead of saying the table's leg, we say the leg of the table. Both are correct.
Right. Native speakers tend to use of for objects and abstract things. The end of the road, the beginning of the story, the point of the conversation.
What about with?
With usually shows companionship, tools, or features. I am going with my friend. She cut the bread with a knife. The man with the blue jacket.
And to?
To shows direction or destination. I am going to the store. She gave the book to him. We walked to the park. Anytime you are talking about movement towards something, you use to.
These three are interesting because they show up in so many phrasal verbs too. Listen to, talk to, agree with, disagree with. The verbs you learn become more complete when you learn the preposition that always follows them.
That is a really important point. In English, many verbs have a fixed preposition partner, and changing that partner changes the entire meaning. Look at versus look for versus look after. Three completely different meanings just by switching the preposition.
Give us examples of each.
Look at means to direct your eyes toward something. Look at that beautiful sunset. Look for means to search for something. I am looking for my keys. Look after means to take care of someone. She looks after her grandmother every weekend.
Three different meanings, same verb, different preposition. That is the magic and the madness of English.
And I think that is the most important thing for English learners to understand. You cannot translate prepositions. You have to learn them in context, with the verb, with the noun, with the full phrase.
Exactly. Memorizing a list of prepositions does almost nothing. But memorizing real sentences with prepositions inside them, that builds real fluency.
So, what would you say to someone who is overwhelmed by prepositions right now?
I would say, relax. Prepositions are the last thing you master in English, not the first. Native speakers themselves debate which one is correct in certain situations. You are allowed to make mistakes here.
And the best way to learn them is not from a book. It is from listening, watching shows, reading, following podcasts like this one. The more real English you absorb, the more your brain starts to feel which preposition belongs where.
Your brain becomes the dictionary, not the textbook.
That is a beautiful way to say it.
So let us bring this together. Today we covered the difference between in, on, and at, based on size and specificity. We talked about for and since, duration versus starting point. We talked about by and until, deadlines versus continuous time. And we talked about of, with, and to, possession, companionship, and direction.
We also talked about how prepositions live inside verbs. Look at, look for, look after. Three small words that completely change meaning.
And what should our listeners do this week to actually practice this?
Pick one preposition, just one, and notice it every time you hear it today, every time you read it, every time you see it on social media. Just notice. That is it.
Because awareness is the first step to fluency. Once you start noticing prepositions, you will start using them correctly without thinking.
If this episode helped you, share it with someone who is also learning English. Maybe they have been struggling with the same things you have.
Thank you for listening. We will see you in the next one.